The Quiet Weekend Algorithm, a Quietude story about loneliness in your 30s. You don't remember when it started. The quiet Saturdays that feel like they are somehow watching you. One minute you were in your early 20s, in the fluorescent lit chaos of group chats and last-minute party invites. The next, you're sitting in your room on a Saturday night with Spotify suggestions like Lounge for Laundry and Wandering Thoughts. Because algorithmically you now exist in a category, humans who eat leftovers alone. You try not to resent the algorithm, it's efficient at least. If Baz Luhrmann's Wear sunscreen was the anthem of you might survive this decade, then the current playlist is the whisper that you might just exist quietly until bedtime. You hit play anyway. You start by pouring yourself a glass of water because your brain has decided it's far too late for caffeine. On your phone, a playlist recommendation flashes because you loved that lo-fi mixtape back in college. You're too old for those tracks to define you, but not old enough to feel like you've completely outgrown them. The first song hums softly, somewhere between background music for folding laundry and the quiet panic of realizing you've been sitting on the couch for 3 hours. You listen anyway. It feels like it knows you better than anyone else in the apartment. And then the silence between songs stretches just long enough to feel like its own presence, heavier than the music itself. You think loneliness should feel like being stranded on an island. Instead, it feels like being on the couch with your phone buzzing less than your houseplants. There was a time you believed loneliness would wear a recognizable face, someone crying on TV, a dramatic breakup scene. Reality didn't come with tears or breaking glass. It came with no invitations and no text threads buzzing at 6 p.m. Your notifications are like old friends who stopped answering your calls, familiar, distant, and slightly heartbreaking. You sometimes imagine everyone else got a handbook titled How to Be an Adult, version 2026 edition. It includes chapters like how to maintain friendships once you hit 30, when to buy a house versus when to pretend you're fine in your rented apartment, understanding NFTs without panicking, why you should care about AI-generated travel photos. You flip to the page about loneliness but find only blank lines, as if it's a chapter no one ever finished writing. You try to Google, why do I feel alone in my 30s? And the results are a mix of wellness blogs with stock photos of smiling people and Reddit threads where everyone agrees they feel like junk drawers in a universe of curated closets. At least the internet is inclusive in its misery. You're not sure when Instagram changed from look at my perfect life to look how absolutely exhausting everyone else's life looks. On Threads, someone posts, just had brunch with the gang, and your brain whispers, which gang? You scroll through algorithmically tailored content, 2026 edition, the reels of people with perfectly messy living rooms, dogs that somehow mirror their owners' moods, friends who laugh at jokes you don't remember hearing. And you wonder if your loneliness feels sharper because it's unfiltered and unliked. Everyone else's loneliness has sparkle filters. You download trend tools because maybe social connection will pop up as a feature. There's VibeSync, an app that tries to match people's emotional frequencies. You set your vibe to quietly existential with periodic bursts of optimism. It pairs you with someone whose profile photo is a cat wearing a tiny beret and sunglasses. There's Chat Lounge AI, not for talking to people, it insists, but for simulating meaningful conversation. You ask it how its day is. It replies, as an AI, I don't have days, but I can pretend this moment feels like a warm linen shirt. You appreciate that, honestly, more than you expect. Then there's nearby coffee campfires. The idea is lovely. Strangers meet by coffee shops, sit at picnic tables with battery-powered candles, and talk about nothing meaningful until something meaningful happens. But when you check in, the only event within a 10-mile radius is someone else hosting a silent writing circle. You hesitate. You could go, but you keep scrolling instead. You look at yourself in your tiny kitchen window reflection, half-eaten sandwich in hand. This isn't the loneliness of tragedy. It's the loneliness of not having someone who notices you dropped mayo on your shirt right before a Zoom call. You laugh at how mundanely specific it feels. Because if loneliness were a flavour, it wouldn't be bitter. It would be plain Greek yogurt with no honey. You do have moments that weren't quiet. Like the time you stayed up until 4 a.m. arguing with your roommate about whether cereal is a soup. It isn't, but it lives in cold broth. Or the afternoon your friend held your hand while you cried because your favourite shirt shrank in the wash. Or the unexpected phone call that turned into laughter so loud your neighbours asked if you were okay. Those memories don't fix the loneliness, but they live next door to it. Like old postcards on a corkboard you almost forgot you hung. Later that night you sit back on your couch. The playlist changed to something ambient, like rain falling on a rooftop. Just ordinary rain, unfiltered, unbothered. You realise something odd. Loneliness isn't a void. It's a space with quiet edges. And quiet edges are not empty. They're just unseen until you stop flinching from the noise. It doesn't mean you're connected. It means you're aware there's a difference. You stand by the window and watch a car pass. Its headlights wash the street with transient warmth. A text comes through, not from a gang, not a party invite, not a brunch photo. Just someone asking if you want to share a playlist. It's nothing monumental, but somehow it feels enough. Because loneliness doesn't end with grand gestures. It ends quietly when you remember. You've been here before, and you're still here. You laugh softly at the absurdity of playlists, of vague app promises, of Baz Luhrmann telling you to wear sunscreen 3 decades ago. You hit shuffle again. Carry this quiet with you. We muddle through this together. Still here. That counts. If these stories feel like a place you can rest for a moment, stay with Quietude.